Hello, everybody. We'll get started here in about 3 more minutes. Well, Happy New Year, Mia. Hi. Hello. We have snow on the ground here. My goodness. Woke up yesterday morning and there was about an inch of snow on the ground and it has not melted. Friday, the first one of 2023. Oh my gosh. And what I have in store for you tonight, I will continue tomorrow at noon for a new stream that I'm starting. So it is a way. Anywho, so what we're gonna do, when something and it gets in my head, it will literally drive me insane until I work on it and get it out of my head. So that's part of my process for tonight. And what I've discovered, and it's been around for patch. Now I'm going to swap to a new camera setup that I've got so I can just show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So right here is a 4-patch, which is quite honestly exactly what it looks and sounds like to make one of these. And I'm a pre-cut person. I loved 5-inch charms. A lot of things with nothing but charmed squares of fabric. So to make this, all I have to do is lay out 4 charm squares. Okay. Oops. Here we go. And then I'm just going to sew them together with a 1/4-inch seam. I'm going to do that first. Hopefully with these camera angles, I've been playing with these camera angles for over a week just to try to tweak them so that you really get a good view of what I'm doing as opposed to just a single camera view. That. And what I'm doing here, I'm just going to sew my 1/4-inch seams. I'm using a 1.8 millimeter stitch length. That way I don't have to tie off the seam at the beginning or the end. We're just going to sew 2 of these together. Got a quick little snip. Let's see. Move my little scissors. There they are. Let me get those down for the next go round. Right there. Okay. Now I'm just going to sew these 2 together. These 4 units are sewn together. That's just the way I roll. And I tell you, up on my design wall that way, I'll show you what's up there before we end this tonight. But I am making a quilt top, and these are all batiks. With various methods of making patches. Now, a 4-patch isn't always 4 squares of fabric. It can be 4 squares of pieced half-square triangles. Think about that for a moment. Pretty cool. Hi, Donna. Hi, Oh, Donna, I haven't seen you. Oh, so good to see you, Donna. So what I have found over the years, I do nest my seams, but you don't have to press it to be able to nest it. And what happens is if you iron and press your fabric too much, it can distort it. So I really only like these blocks I will press at this stage, then after I cut it apart and sew it back together, I will give. So there we are, we're all nice and pressed. And now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut this apart and sew it back together. Check this out. This is what this first block will be once we cut it apart and it's finished. It will be this. Check that out. Those 4 patches, I'll make 2 cuts here, 2 cuts here, sew it back together, and this is what we end up with. This is probably the most common modified 4 patch you've seen, but it is so much fun and it's so easy to do. I made the splurge and Santa brought me this. This is a rotating rotary cutting mat, and it makes it so easy to position yourself to be so you can easily cut your pieces right close to your machine. Loading and skipping stuff. We're having issues here with our half on each side of this center line. Okay, there's my center line. There's my 1.5 mop of that seam line where I just pressed it, and I'm going to make a cut right here. Inch and a half from the side of that center seam, 1.5 inches cut. Okay. And here. So let's get that line back up. Here we go. Out. I now have 9 pieces to sew back together. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate these pieces right here, because the trick to this is the fabric should alternate in the same side of the block. Right. Okay, check it out. Please bear with me, it will get back. All right. And there we have our modified 9 patch all sewn together nice and neat.